Imagine it's a Tuesday morning. The Fed chair steps up to the microphone and makes an unscripted, hawkish pivot during a Q&A session. Instantly, traditional expert advisors built on rigid 2024 logic see the sudden price drop. Their static indicators hit an oversold threshold at a predefined support level, and they execute a wave of buy orders. Because these bots operate purely on if-then scripts, they cannot contextualize the new market environment. They average down into a falling knife, bleeding capital in milliseconds as they buy into a momentum shift they cannot see. Automated trading based solely on historical price triggers is structurally incapable of surviving modern macro shifts. This chart shows how an AI algorithm maps a perfectly smooth, idealized curve over highly erratic historical data. With enough computing power, a model will find rules that would have made a fortune in the past. But it hasn't learned the true market signal. It has simply memorized the noise of historical price action. We call this overfitting. A 95% win rate over the last 3 years is a trap if the underlying logic cannot adapt to unseen future conditions. The 2026 landscape is instead defined by Centaur traders, professionals who dictate the macro strategy while delegating tactical execution to modular AI. Let's break down how this modern system evaluates a setup differently than human eyes. This split screen shows a major difference in technical execution. Traditional bots look at static support lines on the left, while reinforcement learning maps the exact velocity of price action and order book depth. It sees liquidity thinning out. The AI uses this data to instantly shift the environment from mean reverting directly into high volatility trending. Recognizing the new momentum, the system reacts autonomously. It widens its take-profit targets to capture the larger move and simultaneously tightens its stop losses. Technical indicators are effectively useless unless the system dynamically self-tunes its parameters to match the active market regime. But technicals alone don't protect you from the unpredictable flow of global geopolitical news and central bank statements. Traders now deploy specialized financial large language models trained on decades of institutional banking data to understand market nuance. This visualization shows the LLMs scanning raw speech text. It detects an increase in inflationary concern keywords and instantly converts that fundamental data into a definitive numerical value, generating a sentiment score of plus 0.8. This sentiment score acts as a fundamental filter. Even if technicals signal a buy, the system blocks the trade if the LLM detects a dovish shift, ensuring the macro context overrides local momentum. In a high volatility environment, a static 1% risk allocation treats a quiet range and a violent liquidity sweep as if they carry the same probability. This diagram compares that rigid 1% block against dynamic value at risk. Dynamic VAR is an AI calculation that determines your maximum expected loss based on real-time volatility clusters. When a major macroeconomic event like a CPI release suddenly hits the wire and market volatility violently spikes across the board, Dynamic VAR automatically slashes your position size, keeping your absolute dollar risk identical to what it would be on a quiet day. True risk management means dynamically matching your capital exposure to the real-time danger of the market. Now let's examine the infrastructure required to actually build and run this Centaur system. You don't need developers to build this. This no-code interface lets traders visually drag and drop complex modules, like reinforcement learning. Then, walk-forward optimization tests the logic against unseen future data, proving it hasn't just memorized historical patterns. Once verified, the model executes on a low-latency cloud VPS, positioned physically near the broker's servers to eliminate execution delays and slippage. High-level algorithmic architecture is fully accessible to any intermediate trader with the right framework. AI serves as a powerful decision support tool in this new landscape. It is not an autonomous replacement for human strategy and geopolitical intuition. Stop searching for an autopilot bot that trades while you sleep and start designing robust modular architectures that you actively direct. It's time to transition from an operator to an architect. Join the FXNX zero-pip ecosystem and download the 2026 Centaur Trader Checklist.